Hi, I'm Pam Hayes from Hayes Sewing Machine Company, and welcome back to one of our creative videos. Today I'm going to show you a 3-yard quilt. It is called Parade, so may nobody rain on yours. And when you're working with it, it's from Stash Busting, okay, with 3-yard quilts. And if you want to know the number of the book, I'm letting the suspense build because I need to put my eyeballs on. 032344. There you go. All right, and it's a really cute pattern, and I have some of it pieced in the back. All right, now you're basically going to be doing half square triangles. You're going to have 2 colorways. You're going to have the cream, and then in my case the pink, and then the same pink, but then the print. But again, same half square triangles. And then when you are making this particular block, you have 2 strips sewn together, and they're in those positions. And then you have 4 strips sewn together, and that is the second block. So you have,
instead of having a plain block, I like that.
Instead of having a plain one. So if I was doing a very bold, big print, this may not be the pattern for you because you're going to be chopping it up a lot. All right, so when I am doing this part of the block, okay, you are going to have, again, several, they'll tell you how many in the book, strips sewn together, and I pressed it towards the print.
Okay.
When I go and do this block that you see here, that is basically, you're going to sew 4 together. You're going to notice that print, kind of solid, print, and then solid. It's also important when you're doing the layout to make sure you get this block sewed on correctly. And ask me why.
I
was like, whoops, that doesn't look right. And there you go. Story of life. All right, half square triangles. If you have never done a half square triangle before, it is not scary in any way. You're gonna go and you're going to, got something sticky on my, there you go. All right, so you're going to take, and you're going to have 2.
Were you eating fudge here?
No, not even good sticky. Just weird sticky.
Like 505 sticky kind
Like
of thing
505
we had
sticky.
left over, maybe.
Yep. All right. So we're going to,
Maybe come around.
out of 1 block, okay, 1 block, and 1
Slightly sticky
sticky block, you're actually going to get 2 half square triangles, which is pretty cool.
Woohoo! Yes.
Pretty cool. All right, going to pop them together, and I drew across with a marking pen, and I think I used the friction pen. Okay, so you're going to go and you're going to draw from corner to corner. This is going to be where it's important. You're going to make sure you have right sides together. And you're also going to make sure that when you're working with this guy, you're doing a scant quarter. Okay, and she will spell that out in the book, so you don't have to worry about that. So when you're working with your scant quarter, all right, we're going to take, and I basically moved 1 click towards the right side of the foot. So instead of it being straight up and down in the center, I moved it 1 click over.
All right, so hold up for just a second while we zoom in a little bit for that. All right, so.
All right, so on my 590 Bernina, I have taken, and it says 1 as opposed to no number. No number means you're being in the center. I'm going 1 click over. Now, I'm using the 97D foot, which means I am then going to line it up, and I'm going to line up the right side edge, and I'm going to sew along, so the edge of the foot is right along that line. And remember, you would be doing this assembly line style, so you can do all one side, and then you're going to flip it around, and you're going to do it all the same on the other side. All right. And if memory serves, I think you do like 12.
Okay.
So you'll get plenty of practice. All right. So now what do we do? Well, all else fails, we read the instructions, right? You're going to take, and you can cut, rotary cut, whatever you want, but we need to separate them. So you can see from 2 squares, we're going to get a nice set of triangles. I'm going to take and I'm going to press that towards the print in this case, because it's quote unquote darker.
And do you be careful, like whenever I'm doing half square triangles, I try not to like completely flatten it out so that I grow them.
Doesn't matter because we're going to trim.
Oh, well, that's
so
cool.
if you are and you want to grow them, go for it. I mean, let's not, don't be outrageous with it, but it's not going to matter. At this point, I'm going to be using the Creative Grid. We're going to do a little line up. I'm doing 4.5 inches. So my goal is to have the line on the ruler, which goes all the way down, at the center.
Mm-hmm.
If you can see that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, can.
All right. Take your rotary ruler, and you're going to cut both sides, or whatever side is available. And I flip it around, so again the seam is going the same direction, and I'll just double check that it don't need to do anything strange on this side, but it's also a good opportunity to get the little dog ears.
Mm-hmm.
And what's also nice is it allows you to do getting the little slivers, so you're not probably going to be trimming much.
Okay.
If all of a sudden you're trimming like a 1/2 inch, check your math.
Check your math.
Check your math. Not that we would ever have anything incorrect. All right.
Seemed
guess what?
appropriate as I was just talking to my 3rd grade teacher a few minutes ago.
All right. So we're going to do the same thing. Okay. Same thing. Then I take it and I flip it. And I'm going to line it up and make sure that it's all purty. And a lot of times on the second cut, you're only basically getting the dog ears.
Gotcha.
All right. So, ta-da! And the crowd goes wild. All right. So now at this point, you are going to have the square, the light color, which we haven't done, okay, on there. And then we're going to go and we're going to put this guy on. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be good, and I'm going to make sure that I have this lined up right.
So the pinks are going opposite, correct?
See, like a pinwheel.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, I'm going to sew across. Now, what is very important that we remember to do if we're good?
Get back to regular 1/4 inch seam
Get back
allowance.
to regular 1/4 inch seams. You got it. All right, so now at this point, we're going to line it up at our 1/4 inch seam. And remember, you're going to be doing this assembly line style. I'm just doing 2 blocks, but you're going to be doing a lot more. This is also a good time to utilize your hover position if you got it. And I also use my stylist because you can see that this is starting to want to do funny things. So if you use your hover, which raises the foot a little bit, and then you can use your stylist to tell it, no, you want to stay down. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to look underneath Yes, that looks good. And we figure if we're wrong, they're both going to be wrong, right? All right. Hey, it's not like I'm
impressed. I would have laid it out. I would have been like, oh.
There you go. That's me. I'm a rebel. All right, so again, I like to use the hover position. That way, it obeys, theoretically. All right, so we are done at this point, and now we need to press. So this is where I do kind of line it up, and you can see what I'm focused is here.
Mm-hmm.
See how they're opposite to each other and the blocks are opposite? So what I'm going to do is this one's pressed down, so you're basically going to be pressing to the two pieces.
Okay.
All right. And like I said, at this point, here and there. So those are, so you have two blocks. We're going to take, and I'm just going to line it up. And because we pressed it the way we did, you should see your X.
Gotcha.
And at this point, again, they're pressed opposite. So I'm just going to do it. This would be a wonderful time for you to do your quilt tags. And again, remember the hover position is also nice and allow you to put that in there. I always like to do it with my stylus because none of my fingers are not
long and pointy.
Long and pointy at the end. All right.
Stephanie might have gotten that taken care of, you know, long and pointy. She's got mom's hands.
Yep.
We got dad's hands.
We got dad's hands. Functional, but yeah. All right. So now when we line this up, we're going to do the same. And again, I have one pressed one direction, one pressed the other, and I'm looking to go through the X. Again, if you wanted to do a quilt tag, you go for it. And in fact, I am going to do quilt tags a little further along. All right, so again, we line this up. And I am good. So this is the complete A block, and I'm just going to give it a press. All right, so that's the complete A block. And why I'm saying A is because the other one is B.
Gotcha.
All right. And then you put this one in between. Now, when you're working with it, you want to make sure not the print, but the light is to the left.
Okay.
If you want it to look like the picture.
Which we do fervently.
Yes. So then at this point, because I'm doing the last one, yep, we're going to scooch this over. So I do lay out the blocks. All right? It's going to go like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are on the last one. All right. Now, you think this here, you have nothing to line up.
Yay.
She gets you, though. All right. So we're going to line this up. So again, when you're joining the blocks in the row, you honestly don't have anything to line up. I mean, other than your 1/4 inch seam. All right. So that's one. And we're going to join it to this one. And again, we don't have to worry about doing a quilt tack. I thought about that. I cut it a little too close. Thank goodness for needle threaders. For when you're over 21. All right, so we're going to line this up. So again, we're working our way over, and we line this up. So at this point, we will be good to go once we have sewn. So it is 6 rows of 4 blocks in each row. So even I can do that math. You have 24. All right. So now at this point, that's how the block's gonna go, and we're good. So let me go. Sorry about that. There's an earthquake going. All right. So now we're gonna go, and we are going to lay out our block. Now for me, I always put a pin in the upper left. So I know I am good to go.
That you're not inadvertently attaching your row on the
You got it.
bottom row on the top.
Bottom row on the top. So I'm going to go and I'm going to press the opposite direction. All right, and ta-da.
Nice.
So as much as we really didn't do any quilt tacks all the way along, she gets you. All
Okay.
right, take a look. Here,
Oh, hold it. I can't see.
sorry. Here, 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 here. So you're gonna have some quilt tacks. But we're gonna be mature about it. And no problem. So we're gonna go and we're gonna do some quilt tacks. When you're working with it, if quilt tacks are new to you, we're gonna go and we're gonna line it up. And I like using my clips to start out with, because there are some that are gonna be kind of on top of each other. You'll get some that, again, because of how we pressed it, it's going to go one direction than the other. So again, same thing here. And I just like to secure them a little bit before I do my quilt tacks. And get it all lined up. Try to get them as nice together as you can. So like I said, for all of the times that we don't need to do a quilt tack, you're going to have some on this quilt that you will. But it's not scary. All right, and then I have this last block. So like I said, like to get it lined up first. And then I can just kind of zip them down. All right. All right, so when we do our quilt tacks, you're going to line it up. You are going to place it in. I do a final, yep, that looks good, or that doesn't look good. I do a couple, about 2 stitches before, go through the seam, hit my scissors, scoot along. All right, and we're gonna go and do the same thing. Now, I do a couple, and then I check. And I'm like, not so happy with that one. So I'm just gonna take, and it pulls right out. What's nice with doing it this way is you don't have to have 15, joins, and then all of a sudden when you're taking a look, none of them line up the way you had in mind. So again, we're gonna line it up again. Let's line this up one more time. But like I said, the advantage of the Quiltex is if it's not quite how you wanted it, you're only taking out a couple of stitches. And we're going to work our way down. And the thing that's nice with doing the Quiltex is you have where, if you find that your little poochie on, one side is bigger than the other, there you go. I like that better. Now for me, remember, I also have a 3-foot rule. If it looks good from 3 feet, I don't worry too much about it. But if you're off a little bit and it's going to make you twitch, take it out and put it in again.
One of my students once said, will a man on a galloping horse notice?
There you go.
I'm like, oh, that's good. I could work with that.
So, yep. And again, we're just going to get this lined up. Do a couple stitches. And if you think, wow, you have to do Quiltex, remember, if I had sewn everything in, and if it was off and you wanted to change it,
seam ripper, seam ripper,
seam ripper, seam ripper, seam ripper. So again, I open it up. Looks good. So some of the blocks will be taken care of in the fact that you'll have one seam being pressed one way and one seam being pressed the other. So that'll make life a little simpler. But then you'll have some that you'll need to adjust. All right, and I have one more that we're going to line up and do. All right, so I'm going to go and I'm going to, yep, looks good, looks good. Wow, I'm batting 1,000. All right, so now at this point, take a look-see. And if you have a little bit of a pooch, the pooch goes down.
All right, so, yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Okay, so you've got a little bit of a pooch. Especially for beginner quilters, sometimes you think, oh, I must have pieced incorrectly, which could have something to do with it. But also remember, fabrics stretch differently. Some have a little bit looser of a weave and all of the above. At least that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Now, when you go, this would also be a good time to utilize your hover position again. That way, if you need a little bit of help, and we're going to go right across.
And when you're turning your hover position on and off, you're really just hitting, you've selected hover position, and then you're just
settings,
and then you're just taking your needle up down button
off. Yeah, so for instance, if I want the hover, see how it's hovering, and I can pooch it in and see how the foot is up.
Gotcha.
Then the needle on the screen needs to be down. Now, if I want no hover position, if I put it up.
See if I can tip that up and have them see that. I don't know if they can. Oh, yeah, they can.
Okay. So see how right now the needle is up and the foot's down.
Okay, so no hover position.
No hover
and
at all.
when you want it, you just trip it there.
There you go. And it's just a real quick way of
Toggling back and forth.
Yeah, toggling backwards and forwards.
I don't know that I've ever really thought to do that. I've always just gone back into the settings, which is multiple pages to get there.
Yep. So on this one, you don't have to worry about it. And I found it just works. Works well. And remember, as you're going through with your little tacks that we did, the quilt tack, you just want to make sure that you're sewing through the quilt tack. It would be a rare day that I go and take the quilt tack out, because remember, you should have stitched through it. And again, having the stylist is just nice. It's going to help you go through. All right, and then we are at the end. All right, so I'm going to just give it a press. All right. Oh, she's changed positions on me. All right, so now we're just going to talk about how to finish this up. You have 3 borders, which is a nice, nice image, a nice edging to it. When you're working with it, the inner border, border number 1, is going to be tiny. All right, so it's the pink, and that's going to go along, let me just see if I can unwind a little bit. So it's going to go like that. Now, they have you cut 5 strips when you're doing the borders, because you always add it to the sides and then the bottom and the top. Well, when I was cutting it out, I all of a sudden realized I only had 2, and the second border is going to give you the other plain, but the print. And I'm like, okay, but all else fails, do what they tell you. And what is going to happen on the left side and the top, you're going to have this guy. And on the bottom and the other side, you're going to have the other color.
Oh, nice.
So it just is cool. It kind of breaks it up a little bit, makes a little bit of interest. And then when you finish it up, you're going to have the bigger one on the other side.
That's nice.
So that is your quilt. And again, it is called Parade. So have a good time with it. And we'll see you next time.